Gay Dave is a fucking freak, he's a cuckoo whore, and I despise him.
In this world, accessible of kindness and ethical blindness. So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Piss-Drunk fraternity guy, you got my asshole with bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to the side to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, was so impressed. Lots of chicks and a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planets. Oh, I just can't understand it. Conquered divine by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, Sherlock! I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, Sherlock! Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish
This morning, a porch pirate used a
nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. Screws in a pool of blood and cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like cats ready to gag. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bone's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The public dominant. Put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics. So let the fucking spill quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Wonder what they were going to say at the end of that song. Anyway, welcome to the Plex. We do this show live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Ecoplex Media. You can support this project many ways. Go to ecoplexmedia.com/support. And if you want Red Light, the post game, if you're listening to the pod, you either go to eplex.store or patreon.com/Ecoplex. Sign up at the $5 level or higher, and that gets emailed to you every day. Really prefer you sign up at eplex.store, but I know a lot of people are already using Patreon, and I don't want to make you sign up for another fucking thing if you don't want to. Anyway, I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Grindr, and this is what the people want.
I don't hate the cops. There's a person inside when the truncheon stops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Oh, when the raiders come, who will protect the shops? Don't hate the cops. They're a sensitive bunch if you don't stop throwing your rocks. Snap, crackle, pop is the sound of a taser. Your body drops. Don't hate the cops. hate the cops. Don't hate the cops. Thank your local police, 'cause they don't do nothing wrong. Thank your local police. Got rid of the corruption and the racism is gone. They've been keeping the peace, keeping homeless folks out of the parks and malls. Got a cure for your social disease. Follow the law, don't hate the cops. 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 Put your hands above your head and show you're not afraid. I'm the fairest judge that your skin color's gonna get. And if you die before the sun comes up, the paperwork will take forever. Well, it might have worked out a little bit better if you didn't hate the cops. 'Cause they don't do nothing wrong. Don't hate the cops. You can't blame them for just doing their job. Don't hate the cops. Well, you gotta wonder, how much would it cost for you to be shot at and stabbed at by maniacs and drunks? Don't hate the cops. 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 Don't hate the cops.
All right, sometimes I have no idea where in the order of my stories to put something, so I just put it first, and this is going to be one of them cases. It's one pretty funny local news story, not from here in the Bay Area, but it's about Amazon packages and a trash bag.
This morning, a porch pirate used a trash bag, of all things, as a disguise.
Talk about make it work. Doorbell camera footage shows the person crouched underneath a garbage bag. The thief approaches the front door of a home in Sacramento, California, and swipes the package under the disguise and shuffles away.
No one's going to notice. Totally.
If that's what you're doing with your life, you need to come get your life.
You need to come get your life. I don't know what that means. I hate it when the news people try to like ad lib and they're not that interesting. But that is pretty funny. I mean, it's a disguise, right? It's not like they're not going to see it, but they're certainly not going to know who the fuck it is. Like, we're looking for a trash can. And like, it's not like they're going to be like, oh, we're looking for a trash bag. So then if they're looking for it, I mean, there's trash bags in every dumpster. So they're not going to be able to find the trash bag you used if you throw it in a dumpster or somebody's garbage. They're never going to find you. Or I mean, who knows? They may find you some other way, but they're not going to be able to identify you based on your trash bag, I don't think. You just throw the trash bag in the fucking trunk of your car and be like, why do you have a trash bag in your car? They need to look at the cop all crazy, be like, people have trash bags sometimes. So yeah, I didn't know where else to put that. I almost put it in red light because it was so funny, but I was like, we'll go ahead and put it at the beginning here. So up next, did you know, first of all, we've been gone for 2 weeks. I took last Sunday off because I was pretty burned out. Real smart, by the way, that I put my news show, the one that carries the name of the network, on Sunday when I start my streaming week on Tuesday. So this will be like the 6th day in a row every time that I've streamed. Real smart, right? Genius level shit. Anyway, there was a bridge collapse, and there was also an eclipse. Here is the former president's lawyer, Alina Habba, on the PBD podcast. This PBD guy is starting to get kind of popular sort of in the IDW adjacent space. And here she is on the PBD podcast, just saying just anything, kind of.
The whole Baltimore bridge thing, and then let's wrap up with the last Baltimore bridge thing. It's a little weird stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
You know, Do you have the video, Rob? Do you have the video that it keeps backing up, moving, backing up, moving, backing up, moving? At 1:30 in the morning, and then eventually until it's like straight.
It's like a video game where you didn't know how to park.
It's like me driving.
Oh, it was an accident.
You can ask my friends. They won't get in the car with me. They're like,
if
Papa.
Alina was
Like,
right.
what? And I like fast cars. It's not good.
God.
Me
Not a
too,
good
Lena.
combo.
Me too. Love fast cars.
Go ahead, Rob. Is this
So
the
this
one?
is sped up.
So it looks
Look,
okay. Let me
it's-
back up. I'm not direct on it yet.
Coming right, look, boom, bro.
Oh, that's how it happened?
Yeah.
Yes, Adam, that's sped up. That's sped up. That looks.
It was the ship that did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, where the hell have you been?
Wait, what the fuck? Why? What the fuck is this guy? Like, doesn't even know like the basic thing of what happened.
No, hold on. Hold on. Let's just, okay, thank you, Adam, for bleeding me into what I'm going to say. So last month, and I talked
Do you
about it.
still think it's a cyber
No,
attack?
hold on. That look, because guess what? The guy's Adam. To me, that looks like the movie Leave the World Behind.
You're looking at me like I'm crazy
Have you seen-
and that's
No,
the
you're
you
not.
because I'm
That's
asking you if it was a cyber
I want to
attack.
know then why.
Yeah,
So it was a
you're
freaking
not-
ship.
Why is everybody yelling and talking at once on this
This
podcast?
is speculation.
Sounds like old
Nobody knows
episodes of my
shit.
podcast.
A waiver.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I learned
He
from my
needs to
friend.
utilize
He
that.
just
I learned
gave you
from
a
my
waiver,
friend.
folks. No doubt.
Vinny, hire Alina Halba.
Well, guess what? Already my lawyer.
Really good lawyer.
Last month,
I can't get videos though in of
Yeah,
anybody's.
who knows?
how to
But
speak.
I've been watching a lot of interviews of people that were in the Coast Guard, and there's so many questions of where's the tugboat, where's the lead boat,
Yeah.
where's all. This is such a strange.
Yeah,
and
very
Rob, you
strange.
nailed it. It hit in the main spot. You have to go under this thing.
Backs
it looks
up and then goes back.
Yeah, it looks to me like it's purposely trying to go off it. The route of the ship turned around, Adam, and came back to this part. And last month I reported this. Biden issued an EO embedding CISA, C-I-S-A, into the cybersecurity. And the main thing was vessels, harbors, ports.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Stop
I'm
cooking.
just
Stop
saying,
cooking,
after
friend.
watching Leave the World Behind, shout out Barack and Michelle for trying to scare the shit out of people. It looks like that. The opening of the movie is a cargo ship coming into the beach and landing on the thing, and the whole movie's about cyber tech. We're not gonna know.
Wait, so-
We're never gonna know. And here's my thing, because I know I'll forget it. The next day, within 4 hours, 5 hours, Rob, the president of the United States, Joe Biden, comes up and goes, "Hey, listen, the federal government is going to pay for all of it." And people are like, "Wait a minute, don't they have insurance?" He's like, "Yeah, because when there's an insurance claim, you have to do all the research and
Gotcha.
all the
They don't want that.
investigation. There's no
So,
investigation
Vinny-
from the federal government."
Wait, what?
Your legal acumen.
Yes.
Wait, is he
Give us your-
so that because the federal government is going to backstop some of the probably not all the cost, but some of the cost for this. Then now they're like, oh, nobody's going to investigate anything. Like, well, come on, man, come on. That's not how this works.
Your assessment.
Assessment on this?
As a lawyer,
I'm just saying.
Prosecutor Oshana.
First of all, let's give a shout out, Pete Buttigieg. Since he's been office,
not Buttigieg.
Buttigieg. Am I Buttigieg? So listen.
Butterfucker.
By the way,
Just call him the F word.
since this guy's been in, by the way, never hire just some little lawyer. I mean, my bad, a little mayor. Since he's been in, Ohio train derailment. Airplanes are falling out of the freaking sky. Doors flying off. This is happening.
Wait, what? This isn't the transportation secretary's fault.
He would have been fired on day one. He's the guy that goes on maternity leave, paternity leave, whatever, as if one of him or his husband pushed out a child. This
Oh, do you think the guy wasn't taking phone calls and shit? Like, most of the guy's job is taking phone calls and delegating anyway.
is what you get when that guy is in
wasn't
charge.
a child.
That was not. But Rob, what are you going to say?
It's just odd the way that it's a very unfortunate circumstance. 6 people died.
Yeah, God rest their souls.
But
Overnight
when you look
workers working a graveyard shift.
But Tom, look how far apart those pillars are from the bridge, and it makes direct contact. It's not like the side of it hit it; it hit it dead on. And look how much.
No, it didn't hit it. Like, it isn't in the center. You can see right there that it's on the side. Not this. It's inside swipe it, but it's not dead center. But this is just a fucking freak accident. That's all this is, a fucking freak accident. You don't need to cook this. You don't need to bake this. This is a freak accident.
Between those two pillars, that to me is very freaky.
Yeah,
I have a question
at
for you.
1:30 in the morning.
At 1:30, where that's not too crazy.
Vinny, no disrespect.
I'm talking about lawyers.
This is why you pay for a good lawyer, not a court-appointed attorney.
What the
we wore the same
fuck?
pink on purpose. Go ahead.
Coordinated.
What the fuck are they going on about? Like, yeah, it was a freak accident. It doesn't happen all the time. And I saw some fucking weirdos. Like, there's some people out there, by the way, that there's just some like people here in the Bay Area who just love the Bay Area too much. I seen people going, "Oh, the fucking Golden Gate Bridge wouldn't have fallen down if that boat hit it." I'm like, the fuck it wouldn't. Like everybody got all kind of ideas about this. Everybody's a fucking boat expert now. Looks to me like a gigantic boat hit an important structure that holds the fucking bridge up, and then the bridge fell down, which is what you would think would happen if a gigantic boat hits one of the main structures that holds your bridge up. So, did you know we had an eclipse? We had an eclipse. Newsmax has some takes. Here's one of Newsmax's takes. I got two of them.
But remember back in 2017 when people were criticizing President Trump for looking at the eclipse? All of the things Donald Trump did that he was told not to do, looking up during the eclipse, was the most on brand. That was hysterical. But I can only say real men can look directly into an eclipse, right? Just like when Hercules shot the sun, defiant.
No, I don't care if you're a real man or like I guess what they would call a pussy or whatever. Like, don't look right at the eclipse. Don't look right. It's not some macho shit you want to try. It's not like 100% chance that you're going to burn your shit, but you can burn your shit, you could lose your eyesight, or just have like permanent fucking dot in the middle of your fucking vision and shit. Don't look at the eclipse. Chat, don't let the fucking sun's rays cuck your vision. Oh man, people on the pod, you're missing out. You should definitely hang out in the chat during the show. Up next, we got another take from Newsmax. This one's also dumb. It's this one. I don't even know what to say about this. I had to watch it twice. I was like, do I even put this on the docket? Yeah, I'm putting this on the docket.
Now, my question was, I know there'll be about 3 minutes of darkness. Is there any concern that there could be a rush on the border during that time? Any precautions being taken in case there is?
Look, I think anytime you have some type of odd thing like an eclipse, full moon, whatever, we usually take precautions. But look, it gets dark every night. It's dark for about 8 hours to 10 hours every night.
The fucking guest had to explain to them that did you know it gets dark? It gets dark every night. Good job, cowboy hat guy.
Deal with it. I'm sure they'll be prepared to deal with it, even if it's only 3 minutes.
All right, that's what I wanted to hear. Good answer. Good answer.
Oh, that was a campaign ad too. I probably don't like that guy. Like that guy's, I probably don't like his politics or whatever. But that's a pretty fucking solid campaign ad, right? Running for sheriff, just fucking goofing on the fucking news, asking you a dumbass question. That's a pretty good fucking ad. So Fox News just kind of let their anchors sort of riff on the eclipse, and I feel like that maybe wasn't the best idea they ever had. But we'll see. Oh God, first one's Brian Kilmeade. Brian Kilmeade is mind-expandingly stupid.
You know what I like about it too, Jonathan? I feel that it's full circle on the word corona.
Right.
Because we were all in the middle of the coronavirus for, over 3 years. And it had such an obvious negative connotation. And now everyone's talking about the corona of the sun.
Right.
And it's something extraordinary and something uplifting. And also, I love that people have I can't really find any political agenda in this story. Can
Exactly.
you?
But I did feel bad for the corona.
Well, you should turn on Newsmax.
Coronavirus. Now we don't call it that anymore. And now we're back with it. But this is more of a positive element. And as you
No, political lady, you should have seen the clip we just watched on fucking Newsmax. I mean, the fucking based ass sheriff had to explain to the Newsmax anchor that the sun goes down at night. Up next, we got there is actually a political aspect of this from Fox News. I just called this clip "Total Eclipse of the Southern Border."
Rare celestial event collides with a policy failure on the ground. The southern border will be directly in the path of totality today when the moon covers the sun for nearly 4 minutes. And welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino. We are 1 hour closer.
We are. We are.
There's a lot of buildup
That's right. I'm Bill Hember. Good morning at home. But that is team totality on the other side of the wall, by the way.
What a studio they have.
Our folks at Fox Weather are dialed in on this.
So beautiful.
Don't overlook that. Check it out. We are told that officials are bracing for higher traffic than usual, and that means a real opportunity for smugglers and cartels and migrants to come right in. Fox News has reporters far and wide following the total solar eclipse as it crosses the U.S., but the first location of totality is actually the southern border. And that's where we find Bill Malusian live in Eagle Pass, Texas.
Well, that's how lines work.
Well familiar with, Bill. Good morning.
Yeah, Bill, good morning to you. We got double duty down here in Eagle Pass today. Eagle Pass actually expected to be the very first spot in all the United States where the totality of this eclipse is supposed to be seen, but that is only if the weather cooperates. And right now it's not looking too good. We got forecasted overcast skies all day long here in Eagle Pass today.
Fucking weather machine.
Everybody's going to be looking up. If you're looking down here at the border, here's some of what you're going to see. Take a look at this video from nearby New Mexico, which is seeing a surge of illegal alien.
I see two people. Who could be anybody.
Over the weekend,
just
in
running.
Sunland Park, New Mexico, you'll see illegal immigrants dressed in dark clothing, sometimes camouflage, actively trying to sneak into the United States.
Not even just like what kind of B-roll are they running here? Like, what's going on?
And coyotes watch from a mountain above. You'll see outnumbered Border Patrol agents trying to respond as these guys flood into the country, trying to sneak in. Eventually, you'll see one agent able to apprehend a couple of them, but it is a constant game of cat and mouse down there. Then take a look at this second video, also over the weekend in Sunland Park, New Mexico. More of these evaders climbing over a mountain in the Sunland Park, New Mexico area. This is Mount Cristo Rey, kind of on the border of El Paso and New Mexico. These are more evaders dressed in dark clothing trying to sneak into the United States as more of those suspected.
The dark clothing doesn't help much during the day.
From a mountaintop. Then take a look at these photos here. El Paso sector, Border Patrol reporting they arrested another one of those suspected Venezuelan Tren de Aragua gang members. You can see in the photos here, this guy is covered in tattoos that are in connection with that Tren de Aragua Venezuelan gang. The chief of U.S. Border Patrol, Jason Owens, tweeting out this statement, which says in part, quote, "Watch out for this gang. It is the most powerful in Venezuela, known for murder, drug trafficking."
I'm sorry, the most powerful gang in Venezuela is the CIA.
Sex crimes, extortion, and other violent acts. And back out here live, one of those illegal alien Bronx squatters, one of those Venezuelan guys, ICE says when he was just arrested, he self-admitted to be a Tren de Aragua gang member who spent time in Venezuelan prison. He crossed right here in Eagle Pass in October 2022, and despite claims of vetting here at the border, he was released into the United States and has made his way over to you guys in New York City.
Imagine that.
Back to you.
Thank you, Bill. Bill Malusian, Eagle Pass, Texas. Thank you.
All right. Well, good job, I guess. Fucking amazing reporting there. Up next, we got a huge migrant caravan. Everybody, just fucking the biggest migrant caravan ever. But also groups of 10 to 30 people. Oh man, Fox has been killing it. Usually we don't run a lot of Fox News on the Sunday show, but Fox has just been working overtime.
Of migrant caravan headed towards the U.S. southern border. The group of about 2,000 people formed on Monday near Mexico's border with Guatemala. The caravan is expected to arrive in El Paso, Texas in just a few days. This as another 200 National Guard troops have been deployed to that border city. In Atlanta.
The New York Post is reporting that thousands of migrants are heading towards El Paso in just the latest caravan.
And right now, we're expecting that group to start arriving on Monday, a good portion of that group. But don't expect them to arrive as a full 2,000. What they're expecting is groups of 10 to 30.
Oh, fucking gotta love it. Gotta love it. The fucking thousands of them. There's going to be groups of, a couple dozen. Fucking world's slowest invasion. Up next, we got Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, announcing what we can only describe as a voter suppression bill with, I believe, the former guy behind him. What? What's going on here? What a wonderful website you got there. Mr. Musk.
Republicans are introducing a bill that will require proof of citizenship to vote. It seems like common sense. I'm sure all of us would agree. We only want U.S. citizens to vote.
They already do that when you register
in U.S. elections. But there are some Democrats who don't want to do that. We believe that one of their designs, one of the reasons for this open border, which everybody asks all around the country, why would they do this? Why would they allow all this chaos? Why the violence? Because they want to turn these people into voters. Right now, the administration is encouraging illegals to go to their local welfare office to sign up for benefits. Well, guess what? When you go to a welfare office, they also ask you if you would like to register to vote. And so many people,
but you still have to fill out
are going to do that. And you know what?
So there's a couple things wrong with this. I live in fucking California, as they call it. When I re-registered, when I moved, I had to fill out some stuff, and some of it was like, "Are you eligible to vote?" was one of the questions. And then they, at the time of registration, they confirm that. I don't know how they do it. I'm not over there. I'm not over there like working with them or whatever. But they just do all this at the time of registration, not at the polling place. That's all. It's just they fucking understand this. I don't know how long they want it to take to vote. Need a note from your mom and shit too? I mean, what's going on here? So up next, we got Karl Rove, whose head is like a ham. Seems like he's maybe trying to rehabilitate his image, and is talking about the January 6th felons, invaders. I don't know what to call them. Revolutionaries.
If they were smart, they'd take the January 6th and go hard at it. And they would say, he wants to pardon these people who attacked our Capitol. I worked in that building as a young man. To me, the Congress of the United States is one of the great examples of the strength of our democracy.
Wrong.
And a jewel of the Constitution. And what those people did when they violently attacked the Capitol in order to stop a constitutionally mandated meeting of the Congress to accept the results of the Electoral College is a stain on our history. And every one of those sons of who did that, we ought to find them.
Oh, you shouldn't have to bleep that out. It was on cable.
And send them to jail. And one of the critical mistakes made in this campaign is that Donald Trump has now said, I'm going to pardon those people because they're hostages. No, they're not. They're thugs. There were people, some of them had automatic weapons at a hotel in Virginia hoping to be able to be called up. We had people saying, where's Nancy Pelosi? We had people who were, taking desks and sitting at the desk of the Speaker of the House and attempting to...
And they stole a door from the inside of the Capitol. We watched it happen. It was the strangest thing I've ever fucking seen.
Find people in order to bring them to justice and saying yelling at the police, kill them all. And so why Trump has done this is beyond me. If he had said, you know what, I trust our jury system, I trust law enforcement, anybody who assaulted the Capitol ought to be, he said it once or twice, but now he's appearing in a video with people who assaulted police officers with an intent to take the Capitol by force. So, look, I'm a Republican. I don't want to have a Democrat president. I want to have a Republican president. But we're facing as a country a decision, and everybody gets to make it, as to what kind of leadership we're going to have. And to me, it is a mistake on the part of the Trump campaign to allow the president's impulses to identify himself with the people who assaulted the Capitol rather than people who stand for law and order.
The monster I helped create, it turned out that it's evil. Who would have imagined that? Who would have imagined that the monster that Karl Rove helped create is actually evil? Up next, we got, this is from Fox Business. This is their abortion experts now at Fox Business. Check it out.
This is tricky business. How does this play out?
It hurts Trump for a few days, and then people start to realize this is not the worst thing in the world.
He may come out. He'll come out against us. Oh, no, maybe he won't. But remember, his point was the legislature, Mark. He didn't mention the court. So this is tricky. State Supreme Court, does that qualify as a state decision?
Yeah, that's what it is to be pro-choice.
Yeah.
The states can decide. If you had to travel to another state to get an abortion, it's not the worst thing in the world. Hopefully, this is a very rare occurrence in your life. Once in your life, maybe you would do it. Buying a bus ticket to go somewhere to get it is not the worst thing in the world.
To your point.
Wait, but it's not the worst thing in the world, but like not everybody, it's not like you just buy the bus ticket, get off the bus, go in, have the procedure, and then you just walk out and get on the bus and go home. Like, you're going to have to stay somewhere and shit. Like, what the fuck, dude? It's not like you're just taking the bus across state lines because there's a good burger joint over there or some shit. This is a little bit different. There's a lot more moving parts here, a lot more potential problems. This ain't great. This ain't great. So up next, we got Jasmine Crockett, representative from Texas, questioning the FDA commissioner. I love Jasmine Crockett.
Really understand. The last area that I'm going to touch on in my last 45 seconds, because I am a woman out of the state of Texas, there's no way that I am going to have a conversation and not talk about reproductive access. So out of curiosity, would you consider the medical management of a miscarriage to be potentially a life-saving usage? Yes or no?
I have to decline to answer that because
that is perfectly fine.
Adjudication by the Supreme Court.
That is perfectly fine. I'm gonna tell you yes, but I'm gonna give you another question that you can answer. Would you consider erectile dysfunction as a life-saving usage for Viagra?
Not life-saving.
Not life-saving. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you that based on my research that mifepristone actually has life-saving characteristics, yet Viagra doesn't. And for those that don't know, Viagra, from my understanding, is actually nearly 10 times greater as it relates to risk of death. Yet for some reason, it's not sitting in the court right now. And I do appreciate the fact that you laid out that when it comes down to getting drugs approved, they actually go through trials. It's not just randomness. You take the randomness, you then say, maybe there's some evidence here, and then you put it through the ringer. After putting it through the ringer for decades, women's lives have been saved. And as a representative from the area that Roe v. Wade actually initiated, I am appalled because for whatever reason, some people want us to go back to horse and buggy in this country. And I think since now maybe we have the internet, maybe we should take advantage of it. And we shouldn't say that we should remain in the times of horse and buggy. And so with that, thank you for the work that the FDA does. I respect your research. I recognize that the courts don't do research. I also recognize that this chamber seemingly doesn't care about research. But because of the work that you do, there are lives that are being saved. And I need you to be funded to the fullest extent to make sure that we can continue to save American lives.
Yeah, she's good. She's good. Every time we play a clip of her, she's good. She's like got like information in front of her. Well, it's easy to find information, but still she takes the time. Probably got good staff too, like, you know. But yeah, I like her. Good to see some people out of Texas. Because there's a certain way about people from Texas too, the way they talk or the way they like. There's just a way about Texans that's kind of cool. I guess folksy might be the way to say it. Up next, we have a Maine State Representative, Laurel Libby. Not great. Not great at all, actually. Not our friend, not your friend, not anyone's friend.
Let's talk about the Nazis. I would like to know, although I'm not posing a question through the chair, I would like to know what they did that was illegal. To know what they did.
Well, no. They took over the government and made everything they were doing legal.
In detail, if folks would like to share, that was wrong, that infringed on another person's right. Holding a rally, and even holding a rally with guns, is not illegal.
Oh, so she's talking about local Nazis. At the beginning, I was, because I don't always watch I don't watch most of the clips before the show. I thought she just meant like when you say the Nazis, you were usually talking about a specific point in history in another country. But in this case, apparently she just means a rally. No, it's not illegal for them to hold a rally. It's, I'd say, in poor taste, but not illegal. Up next, we got Cocaine Don Jr. Talking about how the DOJ apparently is just going to label you a domestic terrorist for being a Catholic. Oh, this guy's kind of out there.
Biden's DOJ treated Catholics like terrorists. If you were a practicing Catholic, you were a domestic terrorist. If you bought a Bible, you were marked by your banks, and that information was given to said FBI and DOJ. They think
who buys a Bible?
Patriots are terrorists.
Yo, I could just walk into any church right now. They probably give me one. They're just like, here, I have a Bible. I'm like, I don't have a Bible. They're like, now you do. It's one of the things the church does, the Catholic Church, whatever. They'll give you a Bible. I think they put you on a list for being a dumbass if you pay for one, but maybe that's not the DOJ's job. I'm also skeptical of his claim. But, you know. Yeah, you can steal, like somebody said in chat here, you can steal one from a hotel room. Here's up next, we got the New York Police Chief, Eric Adams. This is dumb. Check this out. I don't. Maybe you'll catch it. Maybe you won't.
You were talking the Federal Monitor's report. You also discussed Rikers with the mayor and cutting funding to some of the programs in Rikers. He said, you know what? Those programs were a waste of money. They were taking money, but they weren't delivering on the promises. And everybody knows there is a lot of government waste. What was your reaction to the way his administration is handling Rikers and the way he responded to you on the Rikers conversation?
I would say that Rikers receives $860 million a year. The $17 million of that is put towards the reentry services, the programs for people at Rikers, is a very tiny fraction of the budget. So I would question why you are interested, and it's okay by the mayor's own admission, to continue investing in more police that he says are only there to make us feel safer. So while he's cutting budgets across the city, he is, by his own admission, investing in policing that he says we only need for perception, and yet you will cut 0.001% of the budget that's used for the programs to help the people at Rikers, which I want us to mention that Rikers is a pretrial detention center. 85% of everybody at Rikers has not been convicted of a crime. They're only awaiting trial. So you will cut this tiny amount of money that's there for those people to have services so that they could better reenter society and make it safer for all of us. Meanwhile, you have no problem continuing to find all of the money possible for initiatives that you say are only there for perception.
Ooh, I thought that I was going to be watching that particular interview. Again, I don't preview the clips before the show, but that might be something we should check out during Red Light tonight. We want to check out that interview because all accounts are that the guy looked like a dumbass when he was interviewed by that gal. Up next, we got Minnesota State Senator Glenn, and I'm going to ruin this guy's last name here, Gruenhagen, on sex ed and porn addiction, because of course it's always the fucking sex ed. But this is a new, like usually the sex ed, they're supposed to say that it's grooming, but I guess now sex ed makes you a fucking porn addict. They're just throwing all kind of shit at the wall to see what sticks. I swear, I'm 47 years old. I swear we fucking already figured this out when I was a kid. Sex ed is good and fine, and like it should be offered in the schools and shit. I thought we already figured this out. But anyway, let's go backward with Senator Glenn.
The other thing, explicit sexual information in our schools as a policy should be banned, because what it does is when you show small children or students explicit sexual information and pervert it, it sets off a chemical reaction in their brain called dopamine. Dopamine produces addiction. So you're producing addiction to pornography, and some of those young boys will turn into human sexual predators. And that's one of the reasons Senator Lucero's amendment, you should rule in favor of it, and we should vote on this. Thank you, Mr. President.
What the fuck? Okay, so best research actually shows that access to porn reduces people's inclination to commit violent sex crimes. But also there's like, I just want to know where he got like this idea that, first of all, like the sex ed for, he said like young kids, sex ed for young kids is it's actually not very explicit. It's not explicit at all. The stuff only starts to become, I guess, what he would call explicit in like junior high and high school. But like in elementary school and stuff, it's mostly like good touching and bad touching and stuff around consent, and it actually helps children identify when they're being hurt, if they're being hurt or if they're being abused or whatever. That's the primary function of it in elementary school. It's not porn. I don't know what to tell them. These people are. It's getting more and more motherfucking ridiculous every day. Up next, we got Tennessee State House. They're attacking the important issues.
So there's an additional risk, but it's not as significant as some might otherwise be led to believe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would move to table this amendment that would allow first cousins to marry.
And the fact of the matter is that unless anyone in this body can articulate a compelling interest to deny a male first cousin from marrying a male first cousin, this bill demonstrably violates Obergefell, and we should vote it.
Oh, no. Oh, fucking no.
Well, I can say this. It's outlawed already. It's criminal in Texas. It's already outlawed in the states, and those have not been struck down by the courts. So apparently there is some kind of interest somewhere. I renew my motion.
Representative Zachary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question been called. Is there objection? Seeing none, we're voting. We're all on the board. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1917 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote?
Who the fuck are the weirdos in pink?
Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 75, 2 nays, non-present, not voted.
Senate Bill 1917, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reads here is tabled.
Why is the guy is like, oh, it actually violates the right to gay people to marry their cousin? It's like, what the fuck? Man, stop trying to use my queer identity to push a bunch of bullshit. I don't know. I mean, I'm like more of like libertarian on this. If cousins want to date or get married or whatever, fucking, it's none of my business. But I'm not gonna go out there and fucking like I'm fucking Rosa Parks or some shit and fucking advocate for their rights to do it, because it squicks me out. So whatever. So here is we don't cover a lot of sports, but women's basketball in the United States is actually seeing a bit of a spike in popularity. A lot more people are watching it. There's a lot of people watching the college tournament. I think like year over year, it's up by like a very significant amount. And here is Dawn Staley. She's the head coach of the South Carolina women's basketball team. And she handles a question from a reporter. I think she handles it pretty well. And she even acknowledges that she's probably going to get a bunch of fucking assholes on Twitter coming after her. So check this out. This is pretty good.
If you're a woman, you should play. If you consider yourself a woman and you want to play sports or vice versa, you should be able to play. That's my opinion. You want me to go deeper?
Do you think transgender women should be able to participate
that's your question
in
you want
basketball?
me to ask. I mean, you want to ask, so I'll give you that. Yes. So now the barnstorm of people are going to flood my timeline and be a distraction to me on one of the biggest days of our game. And I'm okay with that. I really am.
Fuck yeah. I mean, my take on this has always been that most people who play sports aren't doing it at the highest echelon anyway, and it doesn't matter. And she could have even shirked the question off by being like, hey, that's a question for the sanctioning body of the NCAA. That's not my decision. But she didn't even do that. She's like, yeah, if trans women should be able to play, it's fine. I like her. I like her. It's good. I'm unsure who Ashley James is. This is from British TV, but Ashley James seemed good too. It's very, very rare that we get a few in a row, a few decent individuals in a row on this show. It's pretty rare that we get a few decent individuals like in the entire broadcast. Actually, if I'm being honest, this is about wokeness.
Charles Brandreth and Ashley James with us. Good morning.
Okay, here's another story for you. Penny Mordaunt bans woke language in Whitehall.
I heard of a nurse at a respected London hospital who has been told that she must tell mothers, must use the phrase chest feeding when talking to a mother about breastfeeding.
My eyes could not roll further into the back of my head if they tried, because firstly, that's not true. That's like the tabloids trying to whip up
Well,
a
hold
pregnancy.
on. I can produce the person who told me they're in this building.
I'm still breastfeeding and I gave birth in the last year.
This is a London hospital.
Yeah, I gave birth in a London hospital.
I checked with one of the producers that I could say this, and she said, yes, I can verify this.
The guidance says if you're dealing with a trans person, use the term chest feeding. It's a more inclusive. No one's trying to ban the word breastfeeding. And I think this is what our government are currently doing. They're stoking culture wars. The term woke actually does mean being alert to social justice. That can only be a good thing. Bear in mind, we know that Parliament has currently over 50 MPs under investigation for sexual harassment. Like, they would benefit from wokeness. We need more female MPs. We need more disabled MPs. We need more black and brown MPs. So being woke is only a good thing. And I feel like this term has been weaponized, just like the term snowflake. Actually, it's the people who fear wokeness that seem to be the snowflakes, because they're getting offended by words, and all it is doing is trying to attempt for society to care about and consider people's feelings, and to attempt for society to be more equal. And a good example of that is using the word parent instead of mum and dad, right? It's pretty harmless, but what it means is that for my friend who's a single mum because she adopted on her own, for my friend who is a two-dad family, or my friends who are two-mum families, it's just not assuming that there's always a mum and a dad. And that's all it is. Like parents, it doesn't take away from the role of mother. I so support the term mother. I'm a breastfeeding mum. Nobody has ever told me chest feeding. I've got trans friends and none of them are offended. So sometimes I think the government and the media like to whip up this frenzy to make people think, oh, things are going too far. But wokeness is not the reason that we don't have affordable housing. Wokeness is not the reason public services are crumbling. It's just a nothing story.
Fuck yeah, she's spitting. I like her. Editing on it was a little bit weird, but I think they were trying to cut it down to make sure that it was under the Twitter maximum for people who don't give apartheid Clyde money. All right, we got a couple palate cleansers up next. Always love to put some kind of funny stuff in the middle of the fucking panic attack that is the fucking docket we do here. This one is just called Don't Push This Button. Shout out to the Discord. I do believe Ali Drew is the one who put this in the Discord. Ali Drew, unofficial co-producer of this show. Check this out. This is rad. I miss the disco ball in my old studio. Hell yeah. Oh, that's such a cool thing to put in a bathroom, because you know people are going to fucking push the button. You say don't push this button. Well, if there was anything bad was going to happen, they actually would not put the button there. So you know it's a joke, right? But that was a good joke. It was a disco joke. So many chats like that bathroom is woke. Up next, we got one that it's called Donate $1 or the dog gets it.
Would you like to donate $1 to save a dog? No. Yes. Double negative. Wouldn't. No. Yes. Yes. No. No. Oh God. I think that your machine is... Got it. I got it. I was just trying to pay for... Yes. True.
It's funny. It's funny. People are real funny. It's like, everybody's like, oh, we should turn off the internet. Absolutely not. People are pretty funny. We got one more bit of a palate cleanser here. This is fabulous. This is the hillbilly gothic. This is pretty popular content creator over there on TikTok. This right here is this is pretty funny. I watched this one before. I watched this one like at least twice before we did it, before the show. It's pretty good. Assuming that the Twitter website cooperates with me here, we'll have this video in just a moment.
You do not have to accept her rejection. I'm a professional dating coach, and
I'm a professional dating coach is a fucking absolute fucking immediate red flag. And yeah, you do have to actually accept. I mean, I feel like I'm preaching to the woke choir here, but actually, if somebody doesn't want to date you or hook up with you, you do have to actually accept their rejection. Not doing so, there's felony laws about that. So obviously the banjo is telling the truth, not the dating coach. Up next, we got RFK Jr. gonna toe the Scientology line, actually, on the cause for mass shootings.
We've always had abundance of guns in this country. In the past 20 years, there's been no per capita increase in the amount of guns we have, and yet these killings, these mass killings, have exploded. And we need to look at at other reasons for that as well, a potential reason. NIH has not studied the etiology or the cause of gun violence since 1996. And NIH needs to be studying them to see if there's connections to some of the SSRI and psychiatric drugs people are taking, whether there's connections to video games.
Okay, so the video game one's an old trope. That one's pretty easy, right? Because other countries, like in Japan, they play a lot more video games than we do. And Japan is just a lot less shooty than the United States. And the SSRI drugs, he's been reading that right off of it. Citizens Commission for Human Rights, that's a Scientology front group. That's what they say every time there's a mass shooting. They don't know anything about the fucking shooter, and they always claim that the person was on, they call it psych meds. So this guy got that information from them, which is not surprising. Up next, we got Rudy Giuliani. I used to be a lawyer, and then they decided to make him not a lawyer.
I wasn't prepared to speak. I'm not used to this. I'm retired. I used to be a lawyer until they suspended me because I'm a danger to the public.
Well, no. It's because they just barred you because you were not holding up to the ethical standards of the Bar Association.
Amazing. Some days, probably most, I wake up and I wonder if it's real.
Oh, it's real.
We really live in a country in which people can go to jail for things they didn't do.
Oh, that's yes, that happens in every country, unfortunately.
A demonstration, a protest, maybe even some kind of a riot is described as an insurrection that's worse than the Civil War, 9/11, the revolution.
Oh, it's stunning that guy can't practice law. I know that if I ever got in trouble, I'd be real mad that Rudolph Giuliani was not available to me, because he seems screwed together real tight. Up next, here's I was unsure whether or not to put this on the list, but I was like, I might as well. I don't know what's going on with this dude's Cybertruck, but check this out. Why is there a Netflix icon on your... What the fuck? I didn't know there was Netflix on a Cybertruck. Like, pull over, you gotta binge some show. Says something about critical steering. Eject, get out of the fucking thing, it's gonna blow up. Oh man, great product you got there. That truck can't be more than a fucking couple months old. Oh, the comments under it too, if you check the docket, the comments under that are amazing. People are like, you're Teslaing wrong. Up next we got oh man, fucking Dr. Drew, dude. I mean, I don't know if he was just a piece of shit when he was doing Loveline too, and I just didn't notice it or what, but Dr. Drew has been going on all the fucking crazy people shows lately. Here he is on a Cocaine Don Jr. show to talk about public health.
By phone, right? I'm getting very heated, and my ex-wife at the time, that she's involved, and she's a little bit more of a warrior than me, and the doctor literally said, "I'm texting you this article," and it was literally 10-year-old dies of COVID. Well, so I actually get beyond the headline, and at literally the end of paragraph 1. Well, the child had an enlarged heart and 7 other right. I felt terrible, but I'm like, that's not the example for me. Like that.
Vaccinate that kid.
Nothing to do
Definitely
with this.
vaccinate that kid.
Wait, what? But you can't. Kid died. COVID. Those are called comorbidities. Yes. Yes, that's yes. Those are called comorbidities. That's how that works. So those things made it more likely for COVID to kill that kid, but the cause of death was determined to be COVID, or like complications as a result of COVID. These people are idiots. Dr. Drew has no excuse. He's not he's an addiction medicine specialist, which again, a fucking fine thing to be, right? Fucking great thing to be. There's probably a shortage of addiction medicine specialists, and people probably end up in like shitty rehabs where there's not enough qualified people to give them the care they need. But you got Dr. Drew out there wilding out instead of like doing his fucking job. Up next, you got Kid Rock appears on the Laura Ingraham show in a Budweiser hat, and well, I guess he's not mad at Bud Light anymore.
That was just, man, we got, I didn't know what hat I was wearing. We got bigger targets. I mean, when you look at who just Planet Fitness, like what are they doing? Like Ben and Jerry's?
So Planet Fitness has a policy where you may not take photographs of people in the changing room, and they're enforcing that policy. That's all that's going on. I think they should have a policy where you can't take pictures of people at the gym at all. It's fucking gross. I'm going to go to a gym and take pictures of people.
Put any targets on people's back. Target, like, I talked to the dudes from Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch, the CEO, and the people like, man, they messed up. It's too bad they just won't say it. Like, hey, we messed up a little bit, whatever. But that's not how they're cut. And I got my answer, and I don't want to hurt people's jobs and stuff like that when they don't have any dog in the fight. But there's a whole lot more companies we should be going after for sure.
Like Planet Fitness for saying you can't take pictures of people in the changing room. I don't know what the fuck Ben and Jerry's did. They're probably just fucking socialists or whatever. Socialists running a profitable ice cream company. All right, we got more of the PBD podcast this time. It's fucking Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters is just God, he's one of the dumbest motherfuckers walking the planet. I'm glad that his mom takes him to task every once in a while on his show, I suppose. But here's him on the PBD podcast. He is the ultimate math nerd.
If you're making $20 an hour to work at a fast food restaurant, all right, is that six figures? Are you making
no 40 grand? 50 is just to exit and add a few zeros.
Yeah. Okay, so
40K a year,
okay,
full time.
40K a year.
Yeah.
So, and then if your husband or wife is also there, you're making $100,000 as a family.
Sure.
No, that's 80.
Both working at McDonald's?
80 grand.
That is okay. That's crazy. Why? Crazy. Because that job really doesn't require much.
That job actually sucks. And they should be paid well because either you come home smelling like a burger and fries, or you have to deal with people that are being a dick to you because somebody in the back fucked up and put onions on their burger or whatever. They come up and they fucking are shitty to you. Now, most people aren't, right? Like I understand that like most people aren't, but it only takes a couple that are. And now you had a bad fucking day. And it was all over onions on a goddamn hamburger that they know and you know that they're just going to make you a new hamburger. So yeah, dual income, 80 grand working at McDonald's sounds fine to me. Yeah, and like Shelly's saying in the chat, that's before taxes. And you're getting, it's not like you got a fucking tax attorney to fucking make sure you got all kind of write-offs and end up with a low effective rate and shit. We got more from the PBD podcast from the last 2 weeks. This is Dinesh D'Souza, a professional liar.
And we see on the video, you can actually see it. These mules show up with backpacks. And we use the term mule because this is ballot trafficking. The mules don't come up with the ballots. They're given these backpacks of ballots to go drop off in all the drop boxes.
Yeah, no backpack. Yeah, these are all from his fucking movie. We watched his movie on stream. None of these people have backpacks. That person has a bag, though. Oh, that's a backpack and the guy only has one ballot. Oh yeah, we watched 2000 Mules on stream. It was so funny. Some of the other stuff that was very funny was they're like, we're using GPS location and all these people went by these ballot boxes many times. And I'm like, well, I was thinking about it when we watched it because I was just thinking about all the we looked up in like when I lived in Santa Clara County, all the ballot drop-off boxes. Well, a lot of them were right by the fucking light rail. And so if you're commuting on light rail, right, every day, you're going to go buy it on your way to work and then on your way back to work. And the next day, you're going to go buy it again on your way to work and on your way back from work. Because the GPS, it's not accurate down to like a few feet. Like depending on the conditions, especially in cities and stuff, it's going to be kind of inaccurate. The buildings block the signal and it's not going to be perfect. What if you're like a delivery driver? And you just happen to be driving the same route every day? You're going to go right past that fucking ballot box. So like we just thought of all kinds of different ways in which it doesn't matter. Like this is useless data, actually. We're getting pretty close to the red light here, everybody. We got a couple more here on the podcast version of the show. And it's as we get towards the end of the podcast version of this show, it does get a little more cooked. Here's Roseanne at a party at Mar-a-Lago for Carrie Lake, and yikes.
Hey, old bro, how are you doing? I'm here at Mar-a-Lago supporting Carrie Lake, and it was a fantastic evening, and our Trump is here being the DJ, and I've just danced, and everyone's amazed. So I'm just going to say to you, please drop out of college because it's going to ruin your lives. Do me a favor, drop out. They don't teach you nothing good. email me or Twitter me or whatever you call me, and I'll help you with your life. But you got to get on calls because it isn't nothing but devil worshiping, baby blood drinking, Democrat donors. Love ya.
That was a message of love. Baby blood drinking, like that's fucking blood libel. It's the people that watch or listen regularly know what blood libel is. Suggesting that people are drinking the blood of babies or whatever is an old anti-Semitic trope. Up next, we got one Mr. Charles Kirk. He's going to talk about subject he probably doesn't really know that much about, and women, particularly women over 30. He thinks that they're unattractive, and I think women over 30 the world over are going to rejoice.
We've basically told a great generation of young women, don't get married, don't have kids, go get a corporate job, and it's created mass political hysteria. And then in their early 30s, they get really upset because they say, the boys don't want to date me anymore because they're not at their prime. And people get mad when I say that. Well, it's just true. If you're in your early 30s, I'm sorry. It's like you're not as attractive in the dating pool.
Wait, no, that's the best time. That was the best time of my life was my early 30s. I think a lot of people, the best time of their life is their early 30s for a variety of reasons. You're still relatively young. You're still relatively, have youthful looks a lot of times, and kind of have your shit together, and you're like, your thinker works a lot better and shit.
20s, but again, you have your corporate job and cats, so I thought you know.
Okay, but like a woman in her 30s with a good job at a corporation and a cute kitty, she'd do fine in the dating market, right? Like, yeah, she'd do fine. She'd do great. Anyway, up next we got Matt Walsh, because we can't do one of these fucking shows without the Daily Wire. He's going to defend the website VDARE. If people don't know what VDARE is, you can go look at like the page about them on the Southern Poverty Law Center's website. They're a white nationalist organization.
But this is not a story about the internal affairs of Scotland. The point is that what's happening in Scotland is not some kind of aberrant, overly extreme application of leftist doctrine. Rather, it's the logical end result of that doctrine. So when you value feelings over truth and you define untruth as truth, what follows next is inevitable. Anyone who really believes that men can become women and that affirming biological reality is tantamount to genocide is eventually going to throw you in prison.
You should have some biologists on to talk about this.
That's why they use terms like genocide. That's the whole point. It's not just for effect. As I've been saying for years, they use these terms because it's the setup, right? It's the pretense for later treating what you're saying as an actual act of physical violence. They're not interested in accurately describing what you're doing. It's to justify destroying your life by force through any means necessary. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, that can't happen here, at least not to the extent it's happening in a place like Scotland. After all, we have a much more robust constitution. We have First Amendment protections that enshrine freedom of speech and protect us from government interference when it comes to our speech. And surely, if the government explicitly said that it was going to target people for their speech in this country and then ruin them, and there'd be a major outcry over it. That's what you would want to think. But if you thought that, you'd be wrong. The Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, is, of course, best known for her campaign to seize all the assets of the leading presidential candidate, Donald Trump.
Joke's on her, you probably didn't have many.
It's her campaign to target the website VDARE, explicitly because of its inconvenient and unpopular beliefs. This is a story that's gotten very little attention in conservative media, but it's every bit as scandalous as what Letitia James is doing to Donald Trump. Shortly after she took office, as reported by the fringe left-wing activist group Southern Poverty Law Center, Letitia James promised to target conservative and right-wing organizations based on their speech. Quote, in 2020, James said her office would take tougher legal action on organizations that engage in real-life discriminatory actions and online hate speech against protected classes. Now, this is an astonishing statement because there is no such thing as online hate speech in this country. We're not Scotland, at least not yet. That's the point of the First Amendment. But Letitia James just admitted out in the open that she was going to the First Amendment.
Great. Now, Matt, what are the charges against VDare?
Saying things online that she does not like. That's exactly what she's done. Over the weekend, VDare explained that the New York Attorney General's office has ruined them financially with a subpoena that requires them to, quote, review 40 gigabytes of emails, an enormous amount. And of course, these emails could in fact reveal the names of the pseudonymous writers as well as donors, privileged communications with lawyers, etc. Now,
okay, right, but what is the charge? Were they in, like, they're already to discovery? So a judge somewhere, like, he like, what you don't say is as important as what you do say, because he's not telling us anything. Like, so this stuff is on the public record.
VDare says the subpoena could cost them more than $150,000 to comply with, and as a result, the website might not be around much longer. And all of this is happening without VDare being accused of any criminal activity whatsoever.
Well, then they can't subpoena that stuff.
Apparently just a suspicion of a possible violation of New York's nonprofit rules, supposedly.
Oh, they're registered as a nonprofit in New York State. Yeah, that's what's going on. They have to obey like regulation. Yes.
Purchase of a castle as a conference venue several years ago, which they needed to purchase because hotels wouldn't let them host conferences there, so they had to get.
Did they need a castle?
On venue. But the New York AG's office isn't being very specific about what the problem is. So, we're really speculating about the specifics. And as VDare's Lydia Brimlow said in a recent interview, New York really doesn't have anything to do with VDare, so their whole fixation with the organization is a little bit strange.
Aren't they? They're registered they're registered in New York State.
In fact, VDare has been trying to leave the state, behind for a while now. The castle property that's at issue is in West Virginia. That's where they're trying to go. Watch.
But when the extreme political rhetoric started flying around in New York and we realized, hey, maybe we should incorporate in a state where we actually operate that may not be hostile to the work that we do. This was well before we had been subpoenaed. We did some research and it turned out that in the state of New York, you as a nonprofit incorporated there, you're not allowed to move without permission from the Attorney General. You're not allowed to reincorporate in another state. You're also not allowed to sell or transfer assets without her permission, and you're not allowed to dissolve without her permission. So it really
but this is for most like organizations. This is just like a paperwork shit.
California, you can incorporate there, but you can't leave.
But when you incorporated there, you also needed some government entity to sign off on your nonprofit incorporation.
So VDare is being chased around by a vindictive attorney general for an out-of-state property they bought. Now, I'm no expert on the facts of the case, but at a glance, what VDare is apparently being investigated for is somewhat similar to what BLM has admitted to doing. We know BLM spent a lot of money buying multiple lavish mansions, not just one conference venue. But BLM was never subjected to any kind of investigation. They never had the New York Attorney General or any other Attorney General. But
maybe they're not incorporated in New York. Maybe they're incorporated in a place where they don't fucking look into the nonprofits as much. This is state by state. There's a lot of states where they don't give a lot of money to the regulatory boards for regulatory agencies around nonprofits. Maybe VDare should have found one of those states to incorporate in.
Barred them with subpoenas. And we know why that is. It's because BLM is on Letitia James's side. VDare isn't. VDare likes to talk about things like crime statistics and what happens in cities like Baltimore. So therefore, like Donald Trump, they need to be crushed.
Ooh, VDare should have a rally in cities like Baltimore. That'd be fun.
Every real estate transaction they've ever engaged in needs to be carefully scrutinized.
Yes.
Until they're bankrupt. Suddenly, Scotland's decision to suspend freedom of speech doesn't seem so unthinkable here. If Letitia James can get away with targeting a right-wing media outlet like this while admitting it, then we're basically there already. If anything, we could learn from what's happening in Scotland. At least they have some people like J.K. Rowling who are willing to go to jail over what Scotland's government is doing.
J.K. Rowling lives in a castle that isn't in Scotland.
Is there anyone in this country who's even suggested sacrificing anything for a site like VDare? Of course not. They have unfashionable views. So they're not going to be around much longer. inevitably, that means that the people who decide what's unfashionable will be coming for you too.
No, I'm not going to incorporate a nonprofit. I don't even have a problem with like all that stuff. But if I was incorporating a nonprofit, I swear to you, I would look around for the state where they just have a hands-off approach. Because that's like, why would you like New York and California are known for being like nightmares to navigate as far as regulation for both for-profit and non-profit businesses. Like when I had my last business, I incorporated in Nevada. Fuck that. I still had to follow, rules because we were doing business in California, but boy, was it a lot easier to like get somebody on the phone and get help and all kind of stuff, like having the business actually incorporated in Nevada. But I digress. Avidair should have done their homework. Yeah, New York and California, probably Massachusetts as well, maybe Connecticut too, are like really they spend actually a good amount of money regulating business and nonprofit. And an organization like Avidair, seeing as they've measured everybody's skull and everybody's skull is the right measurement and they're all super smart, should have figured that out and maybe incorporated somewhere else. Up next. Somebody got to come get Grandpa Atheism because he's saying some dumb shit again.
Well, I must say I was slightly horrified to hear that Ramadan is being promoted instead. I do think that we are culturally a Christian country. I call myself a cultural Christian. I'm not a believer, but there's a distinction between being a believing Christian and being a cultural Christian. And so, I love hymns and Christmas carols and
okay, so what?
I sort of feel at home in the Christian ethos. I feel that we are,
sir, it's April,
a Christian country. In that,
what about Easter songs? Because I think he's complaining that they fucking, I don't know, something about Easter probably.
That sense, it's true that statistically the number of people who actually believe in Christianity is going down, and I'm happy with that. But I would not be happy if, for example, we lost all our cathedrals and our beautiful parish churches. So I count myself a cultural Christian. I think it would matter if we substituted any alternative religion. That would be truly dreadful.
Well, which brings me to my supplementary point, which is that, as we know, church attendance is plummeting, but the erection of mosques across Europe, I think 6,000 are under construction, and there are many more, are being planned. So do you regard that as a problem? Do you think that matters?
Yes, I do, really. I mean, I might choose my words carefully. I mean,
oh no, you've already stuck your entire foot in your mouth.
If I had to choose between Christianity and Islam, I choose Christianity every single time. I mean, it seems to me to be
because you're a white British
fundamentally decent religion, in a way that I think Islam is not.
I think you're going to have to explain why you say that, Professor Dawkins. Why is Islam fundamentally not decent like Christianity?
Yes, I mean, the way women are treated. I mean, Christianity is not great about that. It's had its problems with female vicars and female bishops and things. But there's an active hostility to women, which is promoted, I think, by the holy books of Islam. I'm not talking about individual Muslims, who, of course, are quite different. But the doctrines of Islam, the Hadith and the Quran, is fundamentally hostile to women, hostile to gays, and I find that I like to live in a culturally Christian country, although I do not believe a single word of the Christian faith.
It's not this, like, the problem with this is, like, it's not like this guy gets a say, right? Like, this is a fucking dumb thing about this. This guy, he didn't really get a say, actually, in any of this. Just because, like, he's just somebody. He doesn't have any ability to like do anything about this. All he's doing is complaining. And he's complaining that the fucking people with the wrong imaginary friend are building buildings. Like, get the fuck out of here. You're not even going to be on this planet for not more than maybe 20 years max. So just fucking go with it. As the Christians would say, let go and let God, friendo. My fucking God, I hate these people. I'm so fucking embarrassed that I used to be one of these. I guess the Reddit atheist or like internet movement atheist. I'm so fucking embarrassed that I used to be one of these fucking people. They're all assholes. And the ones who aren't assholes, they aren't very popular anymore. The only one who's not an asshole who's popular is still maybe Matt Dillahunty. But he's not like popular like the rest of these fuckers are. My fucking God. Anyway, that's the podcast show. Podcast listeners, gotta say goodbye to you. You're gonna move on to another podcast, though. I wonder what's next in your podcast rotation on your app. I hope it's something good, like by Robert Evans, or maybe If Books Could Kill, or some other really good podcast like that. Live viewers, you know the drill. Just stick around. We're gonna play a song. And podcast listeners, if you want to know what happens after, you can go to eplex.store or patreon.com/ecoplex. Sign up at the $5 a month level. And you can, you'll get this emailed directly to you. Also, I'm not actually paywalling it. So if you can find my email address, you just email me. I'll send you a link to either the video or the audio file, whichever you prefer, at least for now. Eventually I won't be able to do that because maybe one day I will become popular. Anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out for the podcast part of the show. We'll be back with Red Light in just a couple minutes here. This is Boomers by Periscope.